Hello everyone, welcome back to a new TechFull Tuts tutorial, and today we'll look at creating a prime number checker program in Java. So let's get started. Basically what I have here is a prime tester class, so used for testing our class. And what we need to do, we can actually do a simple function here in this prime tester. But I want to go and do things a little bit differently. We're going to make a new class and I'll call it prime number, and finish. And in this prime number class, basically we'll make a static method, so we don't need to instantiate the class to access this method. That's one thing. So we'll make it public static. It's going to be a type void, actually boolean. My bad. Sorry, booleans, because we are going to return true or false, and we're going to call it check prime, and we'll take in as a parameter an integer which we'll call num. Right, so the error is basically because I need to have return statements, I believe. Yes, it is. So in this method we'll actually get two variables. There we go. You can find a name. Two variables. One is an integer which we'll call limit, because we're going to run a loop, and to find a prime number basically you go up to the square root of that number, otherwise doesn't really do much. So this limit is going to be equal basically to math dot pow, so power, and first argument is the number and then the power. And power, because we want a square root, we just do 0.5. It should work. And it returns an error here because this returns a double and this is an int, so we'll just add cast to int. Next we'll have another integer and we'll call it check, and this is going to be equal to 0. And basically this check is just to see later on in our loop if we find something, if our number is divisible by something else than 1, or just something else than 1, then it will update it. Oops, my bad. So we have our int check 0. Now we'll go on to our for loop. So you don't necessarily need to have any knowledge in for loops, because I'll explain it right now. So for loops, basically for loop we need to, whoops, not do that, do this. So for loops, basically for loop is going to go for some variable is equal or less than another variable, so, or a number. So basically it's a for int, and we'll call it I is equal to 0. So for I is less than limit, I'll actually increment I by 1, so by doing the plus plus, so it gets to limit that number here, and in there we'll do our loop. So in our loop we'll do an if statement, so if num, and we need to use module division, so module division returns the rest of the division, and we have integer division, which returns basically the quotient, the actual number. This returns the rest, so it's the percent sign. If there we go, so fine. So if num mod I equals to 0, then we can increment check by 1. So we go through our loop up to it gets to limit to whatever the square root of the number we put in, and if the rest of the division from num to of num and I is equal to 0. So if there is a division possible, if we have no rest, then we increment check by 1. But here is the thing, and if we go through, if we actually run this, we'll get a runtime error because we go here for int equals to 0, and so the first thing it's going to do is do a modular division by 0. Well, if you know a bit of math, you know that something divided by 0 isn't possible. So we have to put int equals to 1 and not to 0. And that's basically the end of our for loop. Now we need to do two if, well, actually one if and else statement. So if check, so if it returns something, so if check equals to 1, so basically if check only, so if our number only divided by 1 equals to 0, or the rest of the division of our number by 1 is 0, then we'll just return true. And else we will return false. We can just save that. So let's go a bit through what we did. We have an integer limit, which is the square root of our number. We have a check variable, which is equal to 0 by default. And now we have a for loop. So for, and we go through basically every single number up to the square root of our number. So limit, and we increment I by 1 every time we go through the loop. And we do a check, so if the rest of the division, so if the modular division of num by I, so whatever number is in the loop, is equal to 0, then we increment check by 1, so, and then we go up there. We go, and once we've made the check, so if check equal to 1, so if we only the number divided by 1, we return true. It's a prime number, otherwise we return false. So we'll go to our prime tester now, and what we'll do is we'll go if prime number dot check prime, and we'll put whatever number here is true, basically. Then we'll system.out.print, we'll say good, we'll say else, we'll just copy that, we'll say, here you go, nope. So it's check. Nope. Okay, so prime, it's not a prime number. If I put 5, which I know is a prime number, good. So that's our prime number checker. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. Bye.